What was your motivation behind the shipping container home? Was it your interest in it and you trying to figure out, is this really viable as a long-term solution?
Well, I mean, the motivation for anything business-wise is it's always money. So you know, I saw opportunity in it. Now, the curiosity was when I was teaching architecture first at Cornell, then at Northeastern University. I saw that there was a lot of interest from students in shipping container houses saying like, could we create this sort of aggregated housing situation that's plug and play and you
Legos,
stack the
that's
different
what,
housing and
yeah.
the customizable modules that are all stacked together to create these crazy, like kind of dystopian, but cool dystopian towers. And they always said, oh, they're going to be more efficient and cost effective to build. And I'm like, well, how do you know that? And they're like, oh, I read an article. Then I look at the article, I'm like, this isn't exactly really investigative journalism with a lot of like empirically derived data. This seems like one person's quote. So it had always been sort of the back of my mind, but I wanted to do a big docu-series on building a house from start to finish for a new YouTube channel. And Home Depot had expressed interest in sponsoring a really like detail-oriented series on building a house from start to finish. So then I was thinking, okay, I have interest on the financial side. I have interest on my creative side to build a house from start to finish. How do I de-risk this on the audience side to make sure that there will be audience interest in this? So I was looking for something that would be novel, meaning that there's a lot of video series on how to build a normal house from scratch. So I want to do something that was a little bit novel, but not so peculiar and odd like hay bale or rammed earth, not quite that obscure. So I was trying to find that sweet spot. So what I did is I looked at the search volume for shipping container houses on Google Trends. I was like, okay, there's a good amount of people searching for shipping container houses every single month. So there's interest. That's the demand side of the content economy. Then I said, what's the supply of that content? And went into YouTube, no trends, no analytics, just typed in shipping container house start to finish. And I didn't really see, there's a lot of videos that had good amounts of views, but none of them really had great information about the whole thing. And that's what sort of builds my confidence to take on a big media project. When I see that there's demand on the consumer side, but then not a really good supply that I'm trying to compete with. Now, so a case that would be that I wouldn't do would be like river tables. You know, it's like wood and epoxy
Oh,
tables that are really
yes.
popular. So
Live
that's
edge tables.
something where there is high demand on the consumer side. People like watching epoxy live edge tables, but there's also a lot of supply. So that's something where I wouldn't invest a lot of time or resources into developing that type of content, not because the demand isn't there, but just because something's popular doesn't mean it's a good business opportunity. Restaurants are popular, but there's a lot of restaurants. So investing one isn't always a great business